Hey gang, before we get to today's video, I wanted to take a minute to remind you that Challenger Fest 2020 is right around the corner. It's the weekend of April 24th and 25th in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So that was supposed to be this week's intro. Unfortunately, I'm having to film an alternate. This COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever name you want to give it, is kind of disrupting a whole lot of people's plans. Most of us are on some kind of stay safe at home lockdown, we'll call it, where we're supposed to stay indoors and avoid social distancing. And we've been practicing that here. Challenger Fest is still about a month away, and I am really hopeful, fingers crossed and saying prayers, that we are past this emergency at that point in time. However, with the way things are happening, they're changing daily. I get a lot of people are trying to make plans. There's a lot of uncertainty. And what I will tell you is follow the Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ChallengerFest, as well as the website, www.challengerfest.net. I will post an update if for some reason we have to change the date of the event. We're going to try to get some more dates available from the track. I know there's some car events that are having to make those adjustments now. It's all we can do, right? I mean, this is an unprecedented time, and unfortunately we're setting history, which is the first time a lot of us have seen this type of thing happen in our lives. It just isn't a positive thing in history. We're going to get through it as a world and as a country. I'm confident in that. Say your prayers. If you're like-minded like me, you're doing that daily for the country and the world. We'll get through this. Here's some content that I shot a couple of weeks back before the fecal material hit the fan, as for lack of a better term. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of entertainment as you're on lockdown like I have been. I'm on about day 18 at this point, working from home and being kind of stuck on my property. We've been taking a couple of walks here and there, but getting a little stir crazy. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of entertainment if you're in the same position I am. What's up, Speedy's Garage gang? Welcome back to Speedy's Garage. This week we're on another field trip. We're actually headed back to the track to start our 2020 season. This is a test and tune day. We've got gorgeous weather. We got the dual pump fuel system in the car. Everything's loaded up. Crew Chief Greg's in front of us pulling his car. So several of us are going to meet up at Beech Bend today. And goals for the car were 10.0. I've always said that I want to run a 10.0 in any weather. So far we've run 983. So I think we've accomplished that. So the pressure's kind of off, to be honest. This is just going to be more about maximizing the setup. I've just barely scratched the surface on the tune. So I ran the 983 on a really baby tune-up. Very little timing down low. I'm kind of going to have to figure out the track and how much power it can take at launch so that we don't break the tires loose, and just feed it in from there. And then kind of see how it'll go. I have no idea. We've ran a 983. It may have I think the mile per hour is about 141. That's probably good for maybe a 960, 970. So I think I'm close. It may surprise me. Who knows? This car has surprised me several times. So Go Man Go here has been a good trooper. Remember, we've got the Demon/Red-Eye motor in the car now. We blew up the original. So far so good on that. That's one of the reasons I wanted to go ahead and upgrade that fuel system, is just to be absolutely sure we didn't have any other problems going forward. We got a Renegade race fuel, so ready to go there too, and we can start putting the race tunes in the car and seeing how we do. So let's get to Beech Bend, get set up. And a couple of comments on that 10.0 performance goal for this car. Most of the classes that I plan to run this car in are going to be your street car class. You're gonna have to run a DOT tire, you have to show proof of insurance, title, license, all of that stuff. It can't be a full-on race car, or it's not supposed to be racing in a street car class. I have run into that before at a couple of events where the rules were laid out, but they didn't really enforce them, and I ended up against a couple of race cars. If that starts to happen this year, I'm probably going to just turn the tune up a little bit hotter, because you know, who wants to get in there and get beat, right? But 10.0 is the limit before you have to put, or you're technically supposed to put, a roll cage in the car according to the NHRA. Now, there's been some question about that with some of the newer, more higher horsepower cars coming out from the factory, but most tracks still enforce that 10.0 rule. If you drop below 10.0 or exceed, I can't remember, is it 140 miles an hour, something like that, you're supposed to have a roll bar, roll cage. I'm not up on all the rules, but I know there's a limit there, and I'm not ever going to put a roll cage or roll bar in this car. they rattle, and they just really change it from being a street car, in my opinion. So I want it to be a street car first and then a race car second, so kind of street strip. So I'm going to keep it like that, but that's the reason I have a 10.0 goal. And then if we need to, we can put a little bit hotter tune-up in the car and click off a 9 whatever in an emergency. Well, we stopped at our normal rest stop, and it is gone. Several Mopars out here today. Go Man Go ready to go. Crew Chief Greg's car ready to go. We got Chad, Ivory Cat, Manual Gearbox Preservation Society. He's driving an M6. Fastest one right now, he says. All right, we're gonna go over here and talk to Dr. Phil. All right, Dr. Phil, why don't you tell us how much horsepower this 1,000 horsepower looks like?
Just putting it drive, looking to shift on its own. Terrible.
What'd it do?
100.6 miles per hour and a 14.3.
Wow.
We're going to try to shift it ourselves.
You're gonna shift, what are you gonna do?
Shift it myself.
Shift it yourself? Here's a little closer look at Dr. Phil's truck. It's a GTX that was built by LA West. And the interesting thing about it, they did a rear mount turbo system on these cars, and it's actually got a 9th injector that sprays in the intake for the additional fuel. So kind of an old school setup similar to what we have on Project Sport Runner. So Phil's talking about taking this off and doing a heads and cams setup on it. But that's where it's at today. Only 97 of these were made in this color. So here's under the hood. 7th injector, or 9th injector I should say, on this one, right there. Very similar to how we set the 4Runner up. That is pretty crazy how they did things in 2004. So that's a 2004 non-VVT 5.7, and that motor would have been about 345 horsepower to the crank. And surprisingly, they never really advertised how much power they made, or at least we haven't been able to find it with the turbo kit on there, but it makes about 5 or 6 pounds of boost. Not really a tune on it other than controlling that 9th injector. So kind of old school. Be curious to see what it does with heads and cam. All right, here we go. First pass.
Quick pass on the truck. Quick pass on the truck. 547 on the 8th mile. Speedy is in the house.
Joe.
Mr. Challenger Fest himself there on the Jags.com right-hand lane in his big orange Challenger. He's going to run next to the red Camaro on the Budweiser side. Let's see what Speedy's got in it for his first pass at Beech Bend. Let's see. 140.02 the Camaro at 135.
Ooh, it felt pretty good.
24.
We were against a race car. He got us from the 60 foot, but I think we ran similar times. Thank you.
Listen at the turbo on that Mustang, and wow, he is quick. 530 on the 8th mile.
983.
139. It gets off the throttle.
983 at about 140 miles an hour. I'm happy with that for my first pass.
54.
Not bad at all.
Off the throttle at 170.
All right, here we go. Second pass. That felt pretty good. Shifts were a little firmer that time, but I got smoked by a dragster. Anytime I have to close the sunroof, I know I had a pretty good launch. Thank you. No way. Another 983. This car likes to run 983s. 983 at 138. 149 60 foot. I got to get my 60 foot down. That's another 2 983s in a row, so at least she's consistent. All right, here we go. Third pass. Made one small tweak to our tune. Another 983. This car's a bracket car.
And that'll bring up Marcellus Roller in the Nova.
I heard him say I ran another 983. This car's just a bracket car. It's gonna run 983 every time, I guess. 9832 again. I ran this before. 9832
Marcellus
at about 139 miles an hour.
26
crazy.
Mopar.
Oh, red lit by .001. Red lit .001. Dang. That was a good run though. I'm happy with that. And like always after racing, you gotta head to headquarters. which of course is Smoky Bones.
That's right, headquarters, HQ.
All right, so like most track days, it's the day after. I think I've told you guys before, when I go to the track, it's about a 12 to 14 hour day. By the time I get the car ready, drive up there, meet up with Crew Chief Greg, we race all day, stop and have dinner, and then make the drive home, unload the car. It's late and I'm tired. So I really can't think by the time I get home after a long track day. I don't know if it's the adrenaline rush from all the racing and just everything going on, but the next day I always like to clear my mind and sit down and start taking a look at my time slips and compare them to my data logs. Always data log, and I recommend you do the same. I data log every run at the track so that I can come back and look and see if there are any differences, and take a look at the data log. I can see where I'm launching, what RPM I'm launching at, and in this case on most of the logs I'm launching around 1500. And surprisingly, very surprisingly actually, I ran 9.83 passes in a row. The first one, like I said, was a 9.832 at 140.02 mile an hour with a 1.522 60 foot. Been working on my reaction time some because I'm trying to get into more of the racing and getting out and doing some classes. Reaction time was a 0.177. This was on a Sportsman tree where you get the 3 lights and then the green. Not bad, but I think I can do a little bit better. Second pass, 9.838, so only 0.06 of a second difference from the first pass. And these were about an hour and 20 minutes apart, let's say, so let the car cool down a little bit. Reaction time was 0.101, 60 foot, 1.499. 137.85 miles an hour on the second pass, 140.02 on the first pass. I had made a small tune tweak on that second run. I added a little bit of timing down low, and it looks like the car didn't like it. I was getting a little bit of knock retard. Had about 105 octane in the tank. I need to look into that. I'm gonna start playing with the race tunes a little bit, like I said, and getting the most out of the car is my goal. So I tweaked the tune a little bit more, went back, I took some timing out actually, and on my third pass, another 9.832, so it matched the first pass identical. The mile per hour is 138.94, so almost matched the mile per hour. The 60 foot was 1.498 on that pass. The first pass is 1.522, so you can see we're starting to dial the car in and getting it to run very consistently. On this one, the reaction time was negative. I red lit, get this, 0.001. I think I mentioned that before, 0.001. Barely. If I could have had that 000, that would have been a pretty awesome time slip to maybe frame. Now here's something else I'm going to tell you guys. Last November, we ran our first 9-second pass. Get this. It was also a 9.83 with a 7. The 60 foot, 1.499. A mile per hour, 140.77. And that was on a little bit milder of a tune. So what I'm starting to find is that we're maxing out the setup. We're getting the most performance out of it. What I really need to start focusing on is probably that 60 foot. I feel like this car, the best 60 foot I've ever gotten in the car is a 1.46 and change, so like a 1.464. I got a 1.499 on this one. I had a 1.52, a 1.49, and a 1.49. So what I really need to try to do is get the car to launch a little bit better. And if I can get a low 1.460 foot, then I think that car will run a 9.6. I think that's what it's going to run based on the mile an hour and the calculator and all the stuff I've looked into. A 9.6 is what it should do. I've got to figure out what's going on with the 60 foot. I'm looking at the data log. I'm not spinning, so the tires aren't spinning. It's launching reasonably well. The timing is coming in very slowly. That's, I think, the problem. It starts off at like 3 degrees, and then it ramps up. So by 3,000 RPM, I'm only at 10, or 3,400 RPM, I'm only at 10.6 degrees of timing. I need to figure out how to get that timing to come in earlier, and I don't know if it's a torque management deal or something else, but I've sent Mike from OST Dyno an email and kind of asking him some advice. Hey, what do I need to look out here? I'm going to tweak the tune a little bit more and hopefully figure out what's going on with the launch. If I can get that 60 foot down to a low 1.4, we've got a hot rod on our hands. We already do, really. I mean, like I said, my goals are 10.0s in any weather, and we've already guaranteed we've met that. I mean, you pick up a 10th for every 1,000 feet of DA, and the DA on these runs, these 983s, was around -400, which is really good around here. Usually when I'm at the track, it's around 2,000. So add 2/10 to that, and we're at 10.0, 10.03, 10.0. That's exactly where I want to be. So the car's doing exactly what I want it to do. But I do want to see if it can get a 9.6. So we've got a little bit of work to do. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Be sure to check us out on Instagram. It's at Speedy's_garage, as well as our website, www.speedysgarage.net. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so you can see more adventures with Go Man Go and us at the track and what we do with that car. And hopefully, I will see you out there.